here we go. Week 1, day 2. Today we are going to get you all logged on the server, and we're going to teach you the basics of what we will call the Unix operating system, which is actually not one operating system, it's a family of operating systems, but we'll teach you the basics of it, and that'll be very useful for your future endeavors in anything STEM related. We're then going to teach you how to edit a text file using a text editor called Vim. Vim is the master programmer's text editor of choice. Basically, every person I know that's a programmer that knows how to use Vim prefers Vim over every other way of editing code. Even if they use something like Visual Studio or something like that. On Windows, if they know Vim, they will typically install Vim mode for Visual Studio or whichever other system they use to write their code. That's how good Vim is. It's a little bit of a learning curve to get into it. Don't be too scared. There's only 3 commands you need to know in order to start in it. It's not too bad. So we're going to go through that today. And we will write our first program, computer science. There is a long-term tradition in computer science to write a program called Hello World as your first program. So we will do that today as well over the next hour and 10 minutes. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to get everybody logged in on the server. That usually is a bit of a headache. People forget their passwords, or they don't realize that when they're typing their password in, it doesn't print characters on the screen. So people think that it's frozen because they're typing things and nothing's appearing on the screen. That's normal. It just doesn't, for security reasons. It will not print any characters at all when you're typing your password. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to get everyone logged on the server. Then once people are on, like I said, we're going to go over the basics of using a Unix system from the command line. And then we're going to learn Vim and write our first program. Okay, so I am going to pull up a presentation that has some instructions here. It's lecture 1. You can find all of my lectures on Canvas in the all of these lectures here are on Canvas in the files section. Okay. So Unix server. Okay. So what is Unix? Unix is originally it was actually an actual operating system back in the day. Nowadays it's sort of a generic term for a bunch of different related operating systems. Linux being the most famous of them, sometimes called GNU/Linux or GNU plus Linux. There are many different flavors and variants, and it can be very complicated to go into all the different lineages and things like that. The upshot, though, is it's important to know Unix is actually the most popular operating system in the world. It's not Windows. In fact, Windows is really the only alternative to Unix out there. If you have an Android smartphone, that's using a version of Unix. It's specifically a version of SE Linux, I believe. It's what runs on Android. I'd have to look that up, though. iOS, Macintosh's operating system, that's also a Unix-derived flavor of operating system. If you have a microwave, there's a chance that it's running some form of Unix on that as well, even though you can't see it from the outside. You'd be surprised just how many copies of various Unix variants there are out there in the world. Your smartwatch, whatever. It is way more popular than Windows. We just don't realize it because you have your little smartwatch or something, and it doesn't tell you, hey, I'm a version of Unix called da 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 da. It's just a smartphone. You just don't realize it. So why do I teach this class using Unix? For one thing, if you want to transfer to SLO, San Luis Obispo, or I think San Jose State, they require this class to teach using Unix. But even if it didn't require that, I would teach it anyway. The reason for that is because it's really useful to know Unix if you're going to be in any sort of STEM field. If you look at how engineers doing weather forecasting, go about their day, a lot of them are doing it on Unix servers. And in fact, it's worth a lot of money to know Unix. And when I say Unix, I'm referring to the whole family of Unix-like operating systems, first and foremost Linux, or GNU/Linux among them. It's worth $5,000. So if you have a resume and you would be hired for $70,000, this is what the stats show. If you are competent at using Unix, then you would average $75,000 instead. It's a $5,000 pay differential for knowing Unix. And the reason for that is because everybody knows how to use a touchscreen. You know, everyone knows how to use iOS, you know, or Android. Like, they know how to use like these cool like graphical interfaces, but to actually know Unix, by that I mean the command line. This text interface that looks like you're sort of hacking a mainframe or something. If you know this and you know how to operate and navigate around inside of a Unix system, it is a $5,000 a year pay differential. So yay! And the good news is it doesn't even take that long to learn. And I have posted the Surrey tutorial in various places in the email and Canvas, and every time you log onto the server, it'll give you the URL for that. And I recommend that you all go through that as well. Every time you log in, it'll post this hyperlink right here, and if you go to it, you'll see this thing here. It's an excellent tutorial. It does not take long. It takes a couple hours of your life maybe. And is Windows Unix? No. The Windows NT kernel, I believe, was VMS based, which was an alternative to Unix. It was not Unix. A lot of the NT people, Windows NT people, came from the DEC, Digital Electric Corporation, who had an OS called VMS, and they brought in a lot of the stuff from there. But a lot of it is just old Microsoft code, and so it's an alternative to Unix, the main one, honestly, out there. So, anyhow, this tutorial is pretty good, and it goes over like the basics of like how you use it from the command line. How do you copy a file? How do you move a file? How do you delete something? How do you show, you know, what's in a directory? How do you open up a directory and go into it? I would just do the first 2, maybe 3 chapters, something like that. It'll take you a couple hours of your life. It will make this semester a lot smoother, trust me. Nothing more annoying than like you can't open a file, you know what I mean? I know what to do once I can open the file, but I don't know how to open the file, you know. That kind of stuff we're going to go over today. But like I said, just go through this tutorial and it will make your life a lot better. Mint Curly 10 out of 10 would recommend the tutorial. Is this Computer Science 40? I sure hope so. If this is not Computer Science 40 and it's French 2 or something, I am in the wrong place. So, I did that once when students came in. I was like, first day of school, I'm like, welcome to world history. Some student walked out and started walking out like unnoticed. You're in the right place. I'm just messing with you. So, yeah. So this is what a text interface looks like. And you might be like, isn't it better to use like big pictures and use a mouse and click on stuff? And the answer is no. The answer really is no. It's actually far more efficient to work with a computer using the command line. It just has a little bit of a learning curve to it, which is why most people don't learn it, which is why it's worth a $5,000 pay differential. There's a, you know, this looks like, you know, just a bunch of text on the screen, you know. So what we're going to do is we're going to get you here. And a lot of you have been trying to log in already, but we're going to just take it from the top and explain it. Go ahead and log on if you know how. But if not, we're going to take it from the top, and let me pull up the slide here. So if you are using a Windows machine, you are going to connect to the server using PuTTY. PuTTY is what's called a secure shell client. There are many secure shell clients out there, and what it means is that you are going to connect to my server. My server is in the cloud somewhere. It's in Fremont, apparently. I don't actually know where my server is. I've never seen it. I lease a chunk of a data center, basically, is what it amounts to. So there are many different secure shell clients. The one for Windows that I recommend is called PuTTY, if I can spell that right. And to download PuTTY, just Google PuTTY or use DuckDuckGo for PuTTY. I use DuckDuckGo instead of Google because it respects users' privacy, and that's kind of cool in my book. So you just go to the download link, or you can click on the download link here, and you can either install it using the installer, or you can just download the executable. So if you just download the executable, that's actually fine too. Just click on that, and then save it to your desktop, or put it in a folder, if you want to be organized. But there we go, downloaded PuTTY. Kinshi, I guess I don't need to run that right now. Prerequisite challenge form, don't need that. Okay, so when you double click PuTTY, it'll ask you, do you want to run it? Are you sure? Yes, I am. You're going to see this window here. This is the window that pops up when you double click on PuTTY, and I can reset your password for you. Yeah. Happens every semester. I have to reset the passwords of 4 or 5 people. So this is what you see when you launch PuTTY for the first time, and the host that we are connecting to is csci4x.com, csci4x.com, and it's called that because we use it for csci40 and csci41 and csci45, except not 45 anymore, and we also use it for 26. So it doesn't exactly follow the pattern. Whatever. csci4x.com. It's a cool name. I like it. csci4x.com. It's like a 4x game, video games or something like that. I don't know. So just type in csci4x.com. Leave the port the same. If you want, you can change the font size. Defaults to a 10-point font. I tend to make the font big and bold so my students can see it when I'm streaming, because streaming quality sometimes decreases noticeably. And if you want, you can type in a name and hit save, and then you can just double click on that name in the future rather than typing in everything again. I just double click on CSI. I actually have it set to log me in automatically. I've got a private public key encryption thing set up that will automatically log me in without needing a password in a secure fashion. Pretty cool. Is csci4x my personal server? It is. It is. I pay for it myself, so please don't hack it. The school has been working on getting a new server set up over the past year or so, and it's not quite ready yet. So we might switch to that mid-semester, maybe not. We'll see. Okay, so when you connect to csci4x.com, open. It'll ask you to log in. You're going to type in your username and password. Your username by default is your last name. And if you have like a hyphen or an apostrophe in your last name, message me. Those aren't allowed in usernames. And so, yeah, just message me. I'll tell you what it is. Also, if you added the class, you don't have an account right now. The only accounts that automatically get created are people that were in the class on Friday or Saturday of last week, whatever. So if you've added, message me and I will create an account for you. You need to tell me your last name. You need to tell me your student ID. Okay. So that's going to be your username and password are that last name _ student ID. You then type it in again and watch. When I hit the keys, nothing appears on the screen. It will not show you any characters as a security measure. So don't expect to see anything. Okay, and so by default your password is the same as your username. When you log in for the first time, though, it will ask you to change your password. You have to go through the change password process, and you're going to type in your old password, which would be again Kearney _12356, whatever. Your last name _ user ID once. Then you type in your new password twice, and you do this without seeing the characters. So, yeah, make sure you do it right. Okay. And so, under normal circumstances, if you flub your password 4 times, it bans your IP address for 15 minutes. Right now, I have that turned off temporarily. I'll turn it back on once class is over, because everybody screws up early on in the semester. So, if you are on Mac, it does not echo any characters. Remember that. If you're on Mac, then I recommend Termius or iTerm2 based on Mr. Bell's recommendation. You can also connect directly from the built-in Mac terminal. So you can run terminal on your Mac and then type SSH username at csci4x.com. You can type that from the command line there, and it will connect to the server that way. And again, your username is Kearney _1234567 or something like that. What SSH client would I recommend for Mac users? I think iTerm 2 is Mr. Bell's terminal client of choice. So this one here. Mr. Bell, can you confirm that? So I used to be a Mac person. I'm not anymore. I'm very much a Linux person now. Yeah, iTerm 2. Yeah. So I do all of my professional work on Linux boxes, and I use Windows for gaming. I do some development on Windows. I'm not too big of a purist, but I haven't used a Mac in a while. Not in a while. Okay. So, again, when you connect this way, it'll ask you for your username and password, and then it'll go through the password change process. You type in your current password and type in a new password twice. So, who needs their password? I changed my password and forgot it. How can I reset it? I can reset it for you. Okay. Marquez. All right. I used to come up with like funny passwords like puppy or something like that for students, but then students wouldn't change them, and students would end up with these really insecure passwords. So I'll do better. Okay, Marquez, your password has been changed. I'm going to mail it to you now. Check your personal messages on Discord. You now have a new password. Anyone else? Anyone else need a password change? You guys doing all right? Okay. Let's see. Is everybody logged in on the server? Pretty good. All right. That's looking good. All right. Okay. Excellent. Okay. So, smoother than the 12 o'clock class, that's for sure. I had to pause the recording. So many people needed password resets and things like that. Okay. So, when you're on the server, anyone want to volunteer, I will become them and show kind of what it looks like. Anyone want to volunteer? Portnoff. All right. I will become Portnoff. All right, so become Portnoff, and so this is when you log in, it'll give you like a little splash screen when you log in. One thing I do need to mention about the splash screen is that there's like this cow. Let's see, there's like this cow, and it is excellent to have a giant strength, but it's tyrannous to use it like a giant. So whenever you log in, it'll have a cow say a random quote to you. It's random. It's not me. It's not me typing things at you. When I logged in earlier for the 12 o'clock class, it says, you're going to get a divorce within a year. And I'm like, oh, damn. That's, so it is random. It is not me typing a secret message to you. There's a program called Fortune. Be different, conform. An honest tale speeds best when plainly told. And so there's this program called Fortune that will give a random quote, And if you want a cow to say a fortune, you do that. And if you want it to be colorized, a morgue is a morgue is a morgue. They can paint the walls with aggressively cheerful primary colors and splashable graphics. So anyway, it's not me typing things. It's just a funny quote. I believe I don't have offensive quotes turned on. They actually have different databases of the different types of quotes they have. There is an offensive quote database. I believe that is turned off on the server. But if it is, you guys are all college students and could probably deal with it anyway. The password doesn't work. Okay. Let me try logging in as you. Session. Oops, it's logging me in automatically. Okay. Session. All right. Actually, you don't need to say www.csiteforex.com. All right. So Marquez. Yep, it works fine. So when you log in, type in your username, Marquez 08611 underscore 0861126, and then type in the password that I just sent to you. It'll log you in. Okay. You're using the first name, yeah, fair enough. Okay. Okay, so SSH, yeah, username at csiteforex.com. Yes. You're going to use the built-in one. Okay, so let's learn some Unix. So there are 5 commands that you need to use for this whole class. There's 5 Unix commands, and there are 3 Vim commands, and that is all you technically need to learn for this entire semester. If you go onto Discord, they are pinned. If you check the top of the pinned messages on Discord, what I'm about to tell you all is pinned up there. They are also in the slideshow right here. So these are the 5 commands. Yep. And that's all you need for the entire semester. That'll give you a very, very basic level of using Unix, but it's all you need to know, technically. Then again, the more Unix you know, the better off you'll be, the stronger, the more handsome, the more physically fit you will be, the more Unix you know. So this is the basics. rm is your favorite command. Rm deletes a file, by the way. Don't listen to, if Hazelton ever tells you to do an rm star or something like that, that means delete all files. Don't listen to that guy. He's a trickster spirit. Okay, so I'm gonna come back into Portnom's account, and we're gonna do the first command. The first command is called ls. ls means list, and it lists all of the files and folders in the current directory. So I've pushed out a folder to all of you guys. I have the ability to copy files to all of your accounts, and I have the ability to collect homework from all of your accounts. Your homework will be automatically graded for most assignments this semester. Most things in this class, you will get your grades instantaneously. Most of them. Almost all of the programming assignments you do, I push out to you guys on the server. You do them. A week later, I gather them all up, compile them. I have a program that grades your programs and emails you a score, and then that goes into Canvas, and you get your grades just like that, like within a couple minutes of the due date. Zybooks also is connected to Canvas, and so your first Zybooks is up. We'll talk about that towards the end of the class. The Zybooks and Canvas are integrated with each other, so as you go through the Zybooks assignment, it gets reported back to Canvas. Your Canvas grade sheet updates automatically. It doesn't quite do that for your programming assignments on here. I have to go in and punch them into Canvas, but it's graded instantaneously, and you get an email instantaneously. The only thing that takes a while to grade are any open-ended projects. So for example, if I have you do an art project, there's no way to automatically grade that. I personally have to go through all 100 students and look at their art and the code that generated it, and that takes a long time to do. So there's only a couple of those, but I believe in doing them because I think it's really important for students to be able to express their creativity. It's almost a misnomer that computer science is very cut and dried, very like you have to go by the book and follow the rules and do it exactly. There's a lot of creativity in computer science, and I really try to encourage students to be creative and think outside of the box and try different solutions and things like that. So I do some homework assignments where you're going to be very creative and build a world and or make a Photoshop filter or something. But the downside is grading 100 students by hand takes a while. You know, if you make a role-playing game, I have to play 100 role-playing games, which doesn't sound like a lot, Maybe it sounds like a lot. It is a lot. It, like, yeah, yeah. I was talking to one of my former students a couple months ago. We were camping, and he was sort of disappointed that like he put his heart and soul into this role playing game, and I played it. And I was like, oh, good job, and gave him an A+, and then graded somebody else's assignment. He's like, he wanted me to sit down and really put like 20 hours into his game, and I'm like, ain't nobody got time for that. You know what I mean? Like, if I spend 20 hours times 100 students, like, just, do the math. Like, it's just not humanly possible. So, yeah, there are a few times when, it will all be manually graded and stuff like that. Mostly, though, all the grading, all the assignments, all the quizzes are graded instantaneously. I checked the performance on the quiz. 97% of students got the quiz right from Monday, so well done, team. One person put down Pepe the Frog, possibly just because they like Pepe. I don't know. So maybe only one student didn't watch the lecture before taking the quiz. I don't know. So pretty good. The quiz for today, by the way, is going to be on the Unix stuff and on the vim commands. Okay. First command, ls. Got it? Shows you all the files in your current directory. On my account, I just logged out of Portnov's and back into mine. On mine, I've got a lot of files. I've got a lot of folders. The folders are in this kind of periwinkle color. They have a little slash after them. The slash tells you it's a folder. You don't have to type that. And then the white files are text files mostly. And then executable things that you can run are in green with a little asterisk next to them. You don't have any of those quite yet, but you will soon. And so ls, yeah, you use it all the time. Like, it's just one of the most common commands ever. It'd take over 16 weeks if I did it 24 hours a day, 5 days a week. Yeah, it would be utterly ridiculous to put that much time into it. And I'm like, you got an A+. Like, I saw what he did. I saw what he was like, and I went through his source code. I'm like, all right, this is really impressive. You get an A+. Then I moved on. He's like, and I kind of felt bad hearing that because I don't want to crush people's spirits, but yeah, ain't nobody got time to spend 2,000 hours on one homework assignment. Okay, so let me go back into Portnov. So, second command. First command, ls, shows you the files and folders in the current directory. Second command, cd. cd stands for change directory. So change directory allows you to change which directory you're in. So if you've ever used like Windows or anything like that, there's like different, you can be in a folder. A folder is a directory. You can be in a directory like this, and you can double click and go into a directory. That's what cd does. It goes into a directory. And then you can go into another directory, So this is a little creepy, huh? This is for game development. We're importing assets into this is 50B Hazelton, in case you're wondering. This isn't your thing. We're importing assets into Unreal Engine, and so I had a scary white-faced clown doing I don't know, a belly dance or a snake dance or something. I don't know. It's pretty funny. But the point is, like in Windows, you go into a directory. You can go into a directory and type ls and see the files. That's what cd does. So what you do, like if you want to go into this hello world directory that you got there, you can type in cd hello_world and hit return. Or what I recommend is not typing all of that. I recommend typing as little as possible. In fact, with nothing in the thing, you can actually just hit tab and it'll fill in the whole thing. But normally what we do is this. So normally when you've got a lot of files and folders, you type the first couple letters, like hell in this case, and then the tab key. The tab key does command line completion. So what that means is if the Unix prompt here can determine what folder you're trying to get into, it types the rest of it for you. That's by typing tab. So if I just typed H, actually, and then hit tab, it fills in the rest of the name for you. Don't be a peasant, typing out all the letters. Type as little as possible. That's the Unix way. The Unix wizard is a person who accomplishes the most with as little as possible. It's like the motto or the maxim that guides judo, just maximum effort, or sorry, maximum results for minimum effort. That is the guiding principle of judo, and it's also probably the guiding principle for Unix as well. Maximum results for minimum effort. Okay. I think also Deadpool has a saying like that or something, like maximum effort, something like that. No wait, that's the complete opposite, isn't it? If you do maximum effort, then that's the opposite. Am I remembering that right? Deadpool, maximum effort. Yeah. No, we want to do minimum effort. Maximum results for minimum effort. That's what we want. Okay. So if you type cd hello world, you will see that this little bit here changes. So the thing within the square brackets is telling you which directory you're in right now. Kind of like when you're in Windows, and up top there's like if I go into the desktop and go back into that folder there and go into the white cloud folder, do you see up here where it tells you which folder you're in? That's this part right here. That's this part right here. So it's showing you I'm currently in the hello world directory inside of my home folder. The home folder is called tilde. Tilde, also known as the cheat console key. If you are a PC gamer, you hit the tilde key to pull down the cheat console and spawn 1000 cheese wheels in Skyrim, something like that. The tilde key is in the top left corner of your keyboard. It means your home directory. And so if you were to cd to tilde, that would take you back to your home directory. But you don't need to do that because if you just type cd by itself, it takes you back to your home directory. So, good, right? So you can cd and go down into various folders, and then when you want to go back to your home directory, just type cd by itself, boom, you're back where you were before. One more Unix shortcut. I didn't show the other class. Oops. You guys get to know this shortcut. cd minus will take you to the last directory you're in. Maybe not too useful if you only have one folder, but like in my account, like I'll have, I don't know, all sorts of different folders and stuff like that. And so I might go from there into some other folder. CSI 40 spring. And then if I want to go back where I was before, cd minus jumps me back into the previous directory that I was in. So nice little shortcut. So I'm going to cd into hello world, type ls again, and you can see that Portnoy has created a file called hello kearney.cc, which he has filled with hello, colon. Okay. Can you reset my password? It seems like I can't log in even with my username. All right, sure. 1 second, everybody. Let me just see if, yeah, you've never logged in. Yeah, so Sao, your password is just your username and password. I will message to you there. Okay, that's both your username and your password. Yep. Yep. Yeah. Let's see. There we go. Okay, so we've got two files in this current directory. We've got hello Kearney, which I guess I can show you how to delete using the rm key, rm command. I type ls, there we go, I deleted Portnoy's hello Kearney file with prejudice, deleted with extreme prejudice. Alright, so first command ls, second command cd. These are the two that we use to navigate around inside of the files and folders of Unix. That's all you really need. Open up a folder, go up a level, go down a level, that kind of stuff. So, third command, vim. So vim is the world's greatest text editor for writing programs. Maybe it's the world's greatest text editor overall. I don't know if I'd quite go that far, but it is definitely the world's greatest text editor when it comes to writing code. And what's a good way of putting this? There are many computer science people that don't use Vim. There are many good computer science people that don't use Vim. But these are people that have never learned Vim. Because it looks scary. So there's many people that are quite competent individuals that have lived long and productive lives without ever having used Vim. But everyone who I know that has learned Vim uses it over every other alternative. Some few exceptions. There's a few other programs that kind of have the same functionality of Vim, but basically Vim is sort of like the gold standard for writing programs. And it's a little weird. So we're going to open up the file like this. So you open up a file in Vim by typing in Vim. Vim is the name of the command. And then the text file name. So the text file name is main.cc. Main.cc is the file. That is going to open up that file for editing. Okay. Could you reset my password as well? Okay. Yeah, you've never logged in either, so there's no reason to reset your password. I'll just message you. This is your username and password here. That is your username and password. All right. Okay, so back into Portnov's account. cd into hello world. He's created hello carne again. This time he wrote, "You cannot destroy me." However, this is not valid C++ Portnov because that is an O, not a 0. So very close, though, very close. Okay, so so we're going to open up main.cc like this. Vim main.cc, hit return, and you are now ready to code. You are now ready to write your first program. And the first program that you're going to write is Hello World. Hello World is mandated by law. All computer science people since the beginning of time on January 1st, 1970, which is in fact the official beginning of time in the Unix world. Time began on January 1st, 1970, and time will end sometime next decade. And that's a true story. I'm actually not lying about that. I believe it's next decade. Yeah, 2038, next decade. So, in 17 years, time will come to an end. So we are now in Vim. We're now in Vim. There are 3 commands you need to know in Vim. First command, I. I takes you from command mode into insert mode. Okay? I takes you from command mode into insert mode, and I'll explain what that means in a second. Escape takes you from insert mode to command mode. And then finally, the only other thing you need to know is shift, hold down shift, hit ZZ, and this is save and quit. These are the 3 basic commands you need to know to do Vim. I allows you to write. By default in Vim, you're in something called command mode. So if I were to type the M key, I'm hitting the M key and nothing is happening. You see how the letter M is not appearing on the screen anywhere. Vim is not a normal text editor. It is not like the other ones. It is different. Vim allows you to give commands to your text editor. And that's why people love it, because computer science people hate repetitive stuff. So for example, if I wanted to copy and paste a line 50 times in Microsoft Word, I would need to like highlight a line and then Control C and then Control V 50 times and hope that I counted properly. In Vim, I just can do it like that, and I just pasted 50 copies of that line there. It's that easy. It is incredibly powerful, and that's why people spend the time and effort to learn it. It's something you never stop learning, by the way. There's so many commands in Vim and so many tricks and tips and things like that that it's really enjoyable for me to sit down and watch somebody else who knows Vim, because they do things I've never seen before. I'm just like, whoa, 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 stop. What did you just do there? What did you just do there? I've never seen that before. And like, oh, I use the S command. I'm like, the S command just deletes a character and puts you into insert mode. Why would, I've never understood the point of the S command. Why would you use the S command? Just delete the thing, whatever, and go into insert mode yourself. It seems like a waste. He's like, no. But if you do it multiple times, I'm like, what? So, it's the kind of thing where there's a steep learning curve at the beginning, and then once you get the hang of these three things, that's all you need. You can start working with it, and then over time, your skill will kind of increase with it, and you will just become more and more productive the longer you use it. And you never stop learning. There's always another trick or maybe some plugin or something you can use with it. So let us understand command mode and insert mode. So when you start off, you're in command mode. You can do things like, if I want to delete this word, I can type dw delete word. I can type u to undo that. I'm in command mode. I'm actually giving commands to Vim. But let's say I want to just make it a text editor. So you hit the I key. Look at the bottom left corner. Look at the bottom left corner of the screen when I hit I. Bloop. It is now in insert mode. When you're in insert mode, all the text you type appears on the screen. Okay? So you're a normal, boring word processor at this point. It's just like using Microsoft Word at this point, except it does some indentation for you, for free. Now, if you want to go back into command mode, I hit escape. Watch the bottom left corner of the screen where it says insert there. When I hit escape, it's gone. I'm now back in command mode. So if I want to delete that whole line there, I type dd. dd deletes a line. If I want to delete 2 lines, I can go d2d. Boom. 2 lines gone. Exploded. This is what your average Visual Studio fan would do instead. Have you ever done this? You guys know what I'm talking about? Have you guys ever done this in real life? It's kind of hurting my soul a little bit right now. There. That's, my finger's actually tingling from how many times I had to whack that key. That is what people do normally. And in Vim, I just go D3D, what up? D3 lines, delete 3 lines. Vim is for wizards. Vim turns you into a wizard. So anyhow, go into insert mode. You can delete everything between the 2 curly braces there. And we are going to write hello world from scratch. And it looks like this. That's hello world. Okay? In the previous class, somebody was saying, is that an L or is that a 1? And it is an L. Pretty much nothing is going to be a 1. It's an L, not an 1. So I want all of you guys to type this line. You can delete the other 3 things in between the curly boys. a.out, double left arrow, hello world, double left arrow, end line. This is how you print something to the screen in C++. So in C++, if you want words to appear on the screen, you use the a.out capability, which stands for character out. Some people think it stands for console out, and if that's how you want to remember it, that works too. But it stands for character out. And so the double left arrows show the direction that data is flowing. So data is these words here, and they have to be in double quotes. double quotes hold the word that you're going to output to the screen, or the words you're going to output to the screen. Can you guys still hear me? Hello? Hello? Testing? So this is going to send hello world. You can hear me? Okay. This is going to send the words hello world to the character output. It's going to appear on the screen. Okay. And the inline, ENDL, that's a ENDL, not a 1, ENDL, that is like hitting the enter key. Okay. So it's going to print hello world and then whack the enter key, and then the program ends. That's it. That's your program. Okay. The rest of the stuff here, just leave it alone. We'll explain what that means probably on Friday. We have a 2-hour class on Friday. I hope you guys all remember that. For whatever reason, the schedule is kind of weird this year. We have, normally it's even or more even than it is currently, but it's an hour and 10 minutes on Mondays and Wednesdays, and it's 2 hours on Fridays. So it's kind of a strange schedule, but yeah, whatever. So yeah, on Friday we will actually get into programming. This is all of the programming we're going to do today. So when you're done with that, and I'll put it back up in a second, but when you're done with that, you're going to save and quit. And so saving and quitting only works from command mode. Saving and quitting only works from command mode. So if you're in insert mode and you try hitting Shift-ZZ, guess what? It just prints Shift-ZZ. Right? What you need to do is hit escape, go back into command mode, and then you're going to give a command to save and quit. Shift-Z, Z, save and quit. Done. You go back into it. There you go. One thing I should note is never type Control Z. If you're coming from the Windows world, this means undo. In Unix, this means background the application. It's like minimizing it. So if I were to hit Control Z right now, the program's still running, it's just minimized. You can see it says here suspended. And so if you ever do that and you try editing it again, you're going to get this error, right? File's already open. So hit quit if that happens, and type FG. FG stands for foreground. So FG will foreground it. So if you ever do hit Control Z out of force of habit, type FG to foreground it back up, and you can minimize and unminimize things that way. How do you view all background processes? If you type jobs, it'll show you how many how many do you have backgrounded? Like I can do this multiple times, I guess. I got three VIMs minimized right now. Right? Foreground, Shift-ZZ, foreground, Shift-ZZ, foreground, Shift-ZZ, foreground, no current job. Okay. Good job. Later jobs. Yeah, so jobs is how you view the number of jobs you have open right now. There's also a command called PS that shows you all processes that you're running. So please type it in exactly like this. If you guys want to make it more excited, you can add an exclamation mark or extra exclamation marks. That's all cool. If you want to make it super exciting, you can like add some emoji, you can add some devil horns, add some hearts, heart, happy face, smiley face, whatever. It's all good. That floats your boat. You can add emoji to your Hello World program as well. It's up to you. And then again, I hit escape to go back into command mode, Shift-ZZ to save and quit. And then let me know on Discord when you have successfully made Hello World. I stand proudly with emoji code. Did you just press enter in command mode to run the program? No, enter in command mode. If you it's not standard Vim, but I have an alias set up in Vim. Like if you search for something, it'll like highlight all the places where the word appears, and it never goes away until you like search for something else, right? And then it says you can't find that one. So I have an alias set up that on the enter key that if you hit return, it just clears the highlighting. So the NOH you see is no highlight. It's not like no play in Japan, right? Where like the people put on the outfits, and it's not kabuki. It's very serious. NOH is not that. When you hit return, it just clears any highlighted text. Yeah. I typed the password, but it is still saying permission denied. When you finish, just save it. Yes, I will show you in a second how to compile it. All right, I will log in as you. Okay. So open up PuTTY, seaside4x.com, and you gotta underscore 2163 underscore 2163, and you're in. Okay. So yeah, remember it doesn't show your password. And then you have to go through the password change process. So I don't know where it's saying permission denied on you, but you have to go through the password change process after you log in. Maybe you're typing in your username wrong, or your password's the same as your username. So it's not letting me save it because I'm in read-only mode. That's probably because you backgrounded the thing. So if you have it in read-only mode, try typing :W exclamation mark. I think that might write it. But you're going to need to quit out and open up whatever you backgrounded and quit those out. Just have one copy of them running at once. I've thought about disabling Control-Z on the server, but it's actually really useful to be able to minimize and maximize programs like that. What's up, girl?
Are you sure?
I'm just hacking the Matrix right now, girl.
No, I think that's just your background.
No, this is computer science, girl.
That's what it actually looks like.
Yeah, this is yeah, right there. There's people playing football. Then over there, you can see there's some agents that are chasing Mr. Anderson. Can't you read it? Oh, you're only 9. That's why. You need to take at least 2 years of computer science to be able to read this.
Is that actually possible?
It's just random characters. I'm just messing with you. And in the actual Matrix movies, it does hiragana, I believe, or katakana, or the other. So, it's just a cool thing. We do a little hacking, yeah. Okay, so anyone else need more time? You don't have to type the emoji. I was just kind of goofing around. Yeah, you don't. It's most certainly not required for your first program. I'm trying to type it in, but it's stuck in help mode. Help mode. To get out of help mode, which you will get if you type F1 by accident, you are in help mode. To get out of help mode is right there. You have to hit :Q and hit return. Okay. :Q means quit. That will actually quit you out of Vim as well. If you hit :Q, it quits. That's how you can quit without saving. That's really. Although if you're going to quit and there's changes, it's :Q exclamation mark. But whatever, don't worry about it for now. If you want to get out of help mode, it's :Q return. Good questions. How do you delete all the text in main.cc? It won't let me control delete. You have to hold backspace. No. This is Vim. If you got code you want to delete, D deletes the line you're on. And if you delete the wrong line, U. Okay, so DD deletes the current line, D2D deletes 2 lines, D3 deletes 3 lines, and U undoes the last command in case you deleted too much, in case you dug too deep, deleted too much. Okay, so let me show you guys how to compile this. So what does compiling mean? Compiling is what we computer science people do. We write source code. Source code is for people. It's a text file. It's for people. It's for people to read and people to write. People to write and people to read probably is the better order of putting that. It's not really for computers. Computers deal with executables. Okay, and so to go from a text file like this, still not letting me in, still telling me permission denied. Please screenshot your screen yet of, and we can see what is going on. Okay. How do you get back to the saved Vim we made? When you save and quit, you can just go back in by typing vim main.cc again. That'll open the file back up. There is an alias set up called VV. VV will open the last file back up, because I don't like typing. Remember, maximum results for minimum effort. I have aliases set up for everything. Can you save without quitting? Yes. So if you screw something up pretty badly, :Q exclamation mark is save without quitting. :Q exclamation mark saves. I said that backwards. Quits without saving. :Q exclamation mark quits without saving the file. So we'll throw these in here as well. :Q exclamation mark quit without saving. Okay. So you might notice that I'm typing these things with // Anything that starts with // in C++ is a comment. A comment is not read by the computer. It is discarded, so if you ever want to document your code or leave notes to yourself, or sometimes profanity, if you look at a lot of professional software, there's a fair bit of profanity in some of them, at least. Not my code, for sure. The username needs to be your username. Yes, yeah, your username, like I showed you, Yadav, it is Yadav _ whatever. Yeah. And you're using the Mac, yeah. Okay. Put the presentation here. So from a Mac, you're going to connect username at CSI4X, where your username is last name _ student ID. Like that. So Kearney 1 through 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, whatever. Okay, so let's compile this code. So we can compile the code using it's not part of Unix. It's something that I made, but it's kind of nice. It's actually a really nice tool that I made for you all. The command is called compile, and I'm sure, as you can probably guess, it will compile your program. So if we type compile, you have to give it the name of the program, main.cc, or the name of the text file to compile, really. So compile main.cc, like that. Hit return, and voila, it worked. If it didn't work, like if we type something wrong, like if we put this as a 1, it's a fairly common mistake, get an error message. Okay? Get an error message. And in this case, it's telling us end1 is not declared. It has no idea what end1 is. But the error occurred on line 12. on character 111. And so if you go back into Vim, you can see in the bottom right corner down here, bottom right corner, that is line 12. As I move up and down, you can see the line numbers. A lot of people actually leave the line numbers on. What is it, show number or something like that? Belle, do you remember what the command is to, was it num? What is it to show the numbers? Line no, maybe? Set. I don't remember the command off the top of my head. I never use it, just because the thing down here tells me the line number. So, but a lot of people put the line numbers on the left side of the screen. It's gonna bug me now. Then show line numbers. Set number. Okay. So some people do this where they have the line numbers on the side of the screen. I don't mess with it. So if you get an error message, the error message will tell you in file main.cc, line 12, character 111, and it will underline that's where your mistake is. That word right there has got a mistake somewhere in it. Okay. And so I'm going to change the end 1 back to an end line. And it tells you to use a swap file, but the fg command shows no jobs. Interesting. Alright, try now. So, going back to where we were before, you type compile, main.cc, and there it goes. It works. If you don't see any error messages, it was successful. It has now made your first program. And by default on Unix systems, it will create a program called a.out. And the reason why it's called a.out is lost to the mists of time. Actually, I know the reason, but it's completely irrelevant. Basically, back in the 1970s, somebody made that the default name for an executable. There was a file format called a.out, I think. And so just if you didn't give it a name, it would just be called a.out. And so that is your program. If you don't give it a name, it'll just be called a.out due to historical reasons, I guess. So if you want to run it, you just type a.out. There you go. Prints out hello world. Horns, 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 heart, heart, heart. There you go. If you did it right, it should print hello world on the screen. And so if we were to compile Portnoy's code, compile 01 main.cc, Portnoy's code compiled correctly, and when we run it, it prints nothing. Let's see what he has in here. It's got nothing in here. Okay. So that was correct. It shouldn't print anything. Hold up, how do you compile? Compile, and then you give it the name of the text file you're going to compile. .cc means that it is a C++ file. And we actually have 3 CC files in here, so we have to be very careful to pick the right one. This is the one I was working on. Maybe we can try compiling his other thing here. Hello, Kearney. Hello, world. Hello, Kearney. All right, so there you go. So you can see that he made 2 different character outs, 2 different couts. And it prints hello world and hello Kearney. The \n that Portnoy used here is the same thing as the endl for all intents and purposes right now. They're more or less the same thing. Not exactly, more or less the same thing. So if I compile hello Kearney, then the a.out is that one. There's an alias, you can just type a if you want, because why type a.out when you can just type a. So a, there you go. Hello world, hello Kearney. And if I were to compile mine, the one I made, then when I type a, it prints out my program. And you might be like, well, what if I want to have 2 different programs? Well, that's when you've got to give a name to it. That's when you have to actually give your program a name instead of just using the default one, because every time you compile something, it'll make the default one if you don't give it a name. Okay. And that is our lesson for today. Let's talk about the zbooks assignment, because we got 3 minutes left in class. It's time. If you check the pinned messages on Discord, the 5 Unix commands, cd, ls, vim, compile, a.out. That's all you need to do this whole semester. In fact, you're going to be doing vim, compile, run, vim, compile, run, vim, compile, a.out, vim, compile, a.out over and over again in a loop. As you write your homework assignments, you're going to be editing the code, compiling it, running it, editing the code, compiling it, running it, editing it, and building up a little bit of time, adding a few more lines of code, testing it, building up a few more lines of code, testing it. That is the loop that you're going to do over and over and over this semester. For the rest of the semester, you're going to be doing vim, compile, a.out over and over in a loop. cd and ls will take you into the right directory, and then you're going to be doing those 3 commands over and over again, and they will become second nature to you. Okay. So the list of commands are on Discord, they're pinned. That is what the quiz for today is on. It is going to quiz you on all 8 of those things. All 8 of those things are on the quiz. So, to do your Zybooks, the Zybooks is due 1 week from today. At 2 o'clock, all of my deadlines are at the start of class, not at midnight. And the reason for that is because it simply doesn't make sense for me to give a quiz that's due after the next class begins. If you get a quiz, you have until the start of the next class to demonstrate to me that you were here and paying attention. So the next quiz is already up. The Zybooks is here. The Zybooks is, click on that, is fairly substantial. It's not a short amount of work. What you want to do anytime you're learning something is you want to do something called spaced repetition. The way the human brain works is not by cramming everything into one giant study session. If that happens, you lose 90% of the stuff you studied. The research is very clear on this. What you need to do is do what's called spaced repetition. You learn a little bit, you wait a day, you learn a little bit, you wait a day, you learn a little bit, and that's how things get engraved into your brain. And so the Zybooks is, I think, 15 sections for the first assignment. This is a section here. It's not, that's it. That's a section. It's a couple minutes worth of work, right? But there's 15 of them. So it is not an insignificant amount of work. Don't wait until next Tuesday to start on it. Okay? Let's do a week from today. What you're going to do is I would recommend just doing 2 sections a day. Do 2 today, maybe 3. The first one's really easy. Do 3 today, 2 tomorrow, 2 the next day. Get into that habit of working a little bit every day. Trust me on this. I know how the brain works. I know how memory systems work. I know how language acquisition works. You want to not wait to the last minute. And I know I'm a bit of a hypocrite when I say that, but in all seriousness, like having studied, Japanese and Mandarin and these other things, you have to do spaced repetition if you want it ingrained in your brain. So you're just going to read through the section, answer the questions. Again, it's low stakes. If you get something wrong, you can change it till you get it right. Don't just click through though. If you just click through and you just keep doing this until you get it right, you're only hurting yourself. You want to actually read it, try to understand what it's saying, and then move on. Okay? So when you get to the bottom, it's not here because I'm the instructor. When you get to the bottom of the section, there's going to be a green button called Submit. You click on that, and that will submit to Canvas your score. And you can resubmit as many times as you want, like if you get a question wrong or something. It's not permanent. There's nothing permanent on Zybooks until the deadline. Once the deadline's there, that's it. No more. It's a hard and fast deadline. But it's so low stakes that the only way you can not get it right on Zybooks is if you wait to the last minute. And I don't want you to wait until the last minute. I want you to start early. Okay. So basically you do a section, hit submit, and then down here you can see it goes on to the next section. Click on that, and read it, and you just kind of read through it. And like I said, each section's not bad. It's very readable. It's got diagrams. This one's a little bit longer than the other one. Hit return, go on to the next section, right? And do 2 or 3 of these per day. Get them done. Okay. Let's talk about comments here. Right? The block comment. Okay. So that is that. Let's do next Wednesday. And that's it for class today, guys. On Friday, we are going to actually start coding for real. So make sure that you're on the server by Friday. None of this stuff is going to be collected. This is not for a letter grade. It's for practice. But on Friday, we're going to start actually programming for real. So make sure you got all this stuff set up by Friday. We got 2 hours of class on Friday. It'll be fun. We're going to actually start getting into it, getting programming. understanding variables and input and output and all this kind of fun stuff. So I look forward to it. Hope you guys will look forward to it as well. Do the quiz. Quiz is due Friday. Start on the Zybooks, and that's all you got for now. All right. Sounds good. I'll see you guys on Friday.